Welcome, welcome to Talent in the Southland. This is Linda Lee Grau, your host here at Talent in the Southland, and we search all over Orange County to find the very best talent in business and the arts. And today we have an artist, a musician. His name is David Adele, and David Adele is a classical guitarist. Welcome, David. You're a local from Orange County, are you not?
I am born and raised.
All right. You're born and raised in Orange County. That's terrific. And tell me, David, have you always been playing the classical guitar?
No, I started off, actually, the first instrument I ever played, my mom bought a piano, and I was in 5th grade, and she said, "You're going to learn how to play this thing." So I started sometime in August, and about 2.5 months later, the teacher had mentioned to me that we're getting all the students ready for a Christmas recital, and that's about the time I freaked out and stopped playing. So I quit the piano, and really didn't play an instrument for another 10 years.
For 10 years, you kind of held off for 10 years before you started playing. That is amazing. That you should, number one, get started. Knew you liked it a little bit, right? You just didn't want to perform.
I enjoyed music a lot, but yeah, the thought of performing for people really scared me. And I think I wasn't ready. Only 2 months into playing, and but little did I know later on that the performance aspect of learning how to play an instrument is a crucial part of getting better.
Yes, and you were a little more mature by then. Were you born and raised in Orange County?
Yes, I was.
Oh, that's neat. And so here you are, you've had a little experience with the piano. You probably knew you liked music. Did you listen to music?
Yeah, I was into, from an early age, my friends were into the rock group Kiss. So that's kind of where I got my musical start. I think my parents loved Neil Diamond, and, my dad was into Elvis. And so I listened to music growing up. But once I got into Kiss, I was sucked into the marketing and the advertising, and I was Gene Simmons for Halloween for probably 5 years.
For 5 years. and they're talented musicians, too. So you were given tutelage by talented musicians.
Somewhat, yes.
Yes. Now, Kiss was a musical influence. Who else has been a musical influence in your life?
Once I started getting into playing the guitar a little bit, I started listening to a lot of solo instrumentalists, solo guitarists, solo violin, piano, and I really was attracted to what a single person could do on their instrument. And I think that was the direction that pushed me towards classical, in a sense where you were sort of a complete band all by yourself. You don't need other musicians to make your sound complete.
Yes. And of course, classical is a lot more technically advanced, and it's oftentimes easier on the ears than something like Kiss, right?
Definitely.
Well, we're going to take a little break. David Adele, we have some things to look forward to. We're going to play a piece from your CD that is one of my favorites from Satchmo, Louis Armstrong, and then we're also going to hear you play live toward the end of the program, and that's something we'll look forward to. Right now, we're going to take a little break, and we'll be back very, very soon. KTSTFM.com.
Welcome to your new job, young man.
Just $11.99. Radio Shack.
Welcome back at KTSTFM.com to Talent in the Southland. And I'm your host, Linda Lee Grau. I'm the producer and host of Talent in the Southland, and our guest today is David Adele. And of course, your name, Adele, has become famous all of a sudden.
Yes, it has. Thanks to the wonderful performer, Adele. Everybody knows how to say my last name and spell it correctly.
Oh, that saves a lot of time, doesn't it, David?
Well, I spent a good probably 40 years correcting everybody.
Wow. Well, David, I am enticing our listeners with the fact that you are going to play something from a recent album that you've done. What's the title of the album?
Promenade.
Promenade. And there are 29 musical pieces on Promenade, and David has agreed to play one of my favorites from Louis Armstrong, Satchmo, which is What a Wonderful World. So let's hear that first, and then we'll talk more, okay?
Sounds great.
All right. And this is the live one that we're going to hear first, and then we're going to hear David Adele play. This is the recording, and then we're going to hear David play the live one. Well, that was truly, truly restful, beautiful music, David Adele.
Thank you very much.
It's the kind of music that you'd love to put a child to sleep with. It's just so gentle.
Yeah, matter of fact, my ex-wife was a first grade school teacher, and she used to play my CD in the classroom all the time to settle the kids down.
Oh, I would believe that. It's just so soothing. And I think Louis Armstrong would be very, very happy with your rendition of It's a Wonderful World.
I hope so.
Yes, that is beautiful. Well, now, getting back to a few questions about your life and,
Sure.
and how you became an accomplished guitarist. We talked a little bit about who your musical influences were. And do you come from a family of musicians, David?
My direct, immediate family are not really musicians. My brother played a little bit of clarinet, but just enough to make it sound like he was killing a cat. It was really horrible to listen to. But my father remarried, and he remarried a concert pianist. And from about the age of 5th grade on, I used to hear her practice all the time. She's classically trained and has a degree from Cal State Fullerton, and really a phenomenal pianist. And I would hear her practicing all the time. And I guess it put the seed in my head that if you're a classical musician, you need to practice, really seriously, and just work hard at it.
Yes.
And by the time I eventually started taking lessons in college for classical guitar, that was so ingrained in me as to a practice routine and working at it that I approached it. I really tried to practice about 2 hours a day when I first started playing classical. And then eventually it got up to 5, 6, 7 hours a day.
5 or 6 or 7 hours a day. Now, when you're doing it with that intensity, playing the guitar now, right? Not just piano.
Right.
You're playing the guitar. You're doing it 5, 6, 7 hours. Don't your fingers get raw?
Well, when you first start, your fingers get very sore because they're building up calluses.
Yes.
But once you've played for a little while, that part of the finger doesn't hurt anymore. But I remember the feeling of just being physically tired, a little mentally tired, and my fingers aching and sore. But to me, that was a sign that I'd been working hard, and that was it sort of encouraged me for the next day to get that same feeling. And every day I would really, I loved it. That was the thing, is I loved practicing.
Yes.
And one thing I would do is I would record myself every 6 months. And when I first started taking classical lessons, this was at Santa Ana College. And I teach there now.
You teach at Santa Ana.
I do. But when I first started taking lessons there, part of the program was we had to give a recital at the end of each semester. And the first semester was 5 minutes, and the second semester 10. And each semester they'd add 5 more minutes to the recital. And this was really the first time I had to do any sort of recital since I'd heard the word back in 5th grade. And now I'm about 20 years old.
Did you get shudders and shivers?
Of course I did. And I was working 2 hours a day, and I had my 5 minutes worth of music as prepared as I could get. And then I got up there, and I just kind of, my brain stopped working, and my hands started...
brain freeze.
hands started shaking. And but I knew that I was playing the music well, I just wasn't performing it well. And the more that I kept doing it, I thought my performance level will get better as long as I keep working at it.
Yes, because by then you had confidence that the guitar was a part of you, and you knew how you could make it sound.
Yes.
And how beautiful the guitar is when you make it sound really the way it's supposed to sound. Well, what would you like to do for us live,
I'd love
David?
to play a piece that I wrote.
Okay.
The name of the piece is called Waterfalls, and it uses a special technique for the guitar. You know, normally when you play a scale, you're playing either on 1 or 2 or 3 strings. But this piece uses a technique called campanella, where each note of the scale is on a different string, so you get an overlapping, over-ringing of the notes, and you get something like... And what that does is it gives it like a harp-like sound where the notes are ringing into each other.
I see.
This piece I wrote, Waterfalls, I'm trying to give the imagery of falling water by using this technique, campanella.
And the name is?
Waterfalls.
Waterfalls. All right. just entrancing, David.
Thank you.
I've been to a waterfall on the island of Moorea near Tahiti. This sounded like that waterfall. I've been to waterfalls in Yosemite. They weren't as peaceful.
Oh, wonderful.
And I've always wanted to go to Holy Jim Falls here locally in Orange County, but I've never gotten there. Have you?
I have never been there. No.
Oh,
we'll have to go together.
But it does very much, David, very much sound like a waterfall sounds.
Good. That was the imagery I wanted.
That was the intent. How fortunate your students are at Santa Ana College.
Thank you.
Yes.
I also teach over at Mount San Antonio College as well. I'm sort of racing back and forth between two schools.
Where's San Antonio College?
That's in the city of Walnut out by Diamond Bar.
Ah, and by the way, if somebody wants to get in touch with you to give lessons or to perform for an event they may be having, how do they get in touch with you, David?
You can either call me direct at 714-469-2892, or you can email me, David Adele, at sbcglobal.net.
Okay, so that would be DAVIDADELE at sbcglobal.net.
That's a lot, yes.
Okay, and I'm assuming you'd most like to be contacted via the email address, correct?
Email's fine, or phone is fine. Also, I do perform at a restaurant in town in Tustin.
Okay.
I wanted to mention that at Pizzel's Bistro.
Oh, yes, great eggplant parmesan at Pizzel's. I've been there. And when do you perform there?
I'm usually there every Saturday from 6:30 to 9. It's always a good idea to call ahead to make sure I'm playing that night. I think I've had maybe 3 Saturday nights off this whole year, but usually Saturday night 6:30 to 9.
Saturday, 6:30 to 9 at Pizzel's in Tustin,
right
here in Orange County. That is great to know, because I know that people's gastrointestinal fortitude is supported very well by your beautiful music.
It adds a wonderful ambience. The one thing about instrumental music is you can have a conversation and enjoy the music at the same time, and you're not interrupted by lyrics or a vocalist.
That is so. And tell me, David, do you have, you do have the one CD here, Promenade,
yes,
available for sale, and do you have other CDs?
I have one other CD. I also perform with another guitarist, Mandita Uch, and we are the Denali guitar duo. And we made a CD a number of years back, so I have both of those. And those are available. If you contact me through the email, davidadele@sbcglobal.net, then I can tell you how to go about getting a hold of either one of those CDs.
Great. And here's a key question that I'm very bold to ask. I'll get the answer after our next commercial, but my question to you is the question that all musicians listening want to know. Are you able to make a living with your beautiful music? And we'll be back soon to have that question answered from David Adele, classical guitarist.
Double your pleasure, double your fun.
Free Pringles. Tasting is believing.
Oh my, that was a little bit coarse for such beautiful classical music that we've been listening to. But Pringles are good with any flavor music, right?
I like to eat my double gum and have a Pringle at the same time.
Yes, double and gum and a Pringle. That would stick in the craw. So anyway, do you make a living, David Adele, at your beautiful music?
The one thing I've always told my students is, if you really, truly want a life in music and you're serious about it, then you need to work as hard as you can. And this comes also from my dad, who told me, if this is something you want, it's not necessarily an easy path, but you have to do everything that you know how to do to be as good as you can.
Yes.
And so I was fortunate right out of college. I have a master's degree in classical guitar performance from Cal State Fullerton. And as I was finishing up my degree, I was able to get a couple of teaching jobs at Santa Ana College in Mount Sac, as I mentioned. And I do perform as much as I can. For about 10 years solid, I was doing the coffee shop circuit, and I still perform privately and do a lot of weddings. And so between performing and teaching and selling CDs, and I also sell guitars as well. And I just started making my first guitar. That's a whole other story.
Really? Now, what guitar are you playing on?
This guitar has a story too. This was built by a luthier in Anaheim Hills. His name is William Gourlay, and he was donating this guitar for the Orange Public Library. And this was an auction that I got hired to play. And at this auction, I was supposed to play this guitar and help raise the bidding price of it. And he let me play the guitar for a month before the performance date, and I fell in love with the guitar and ended up buying it and outbid the highest bidder.
Now, I've got to ask you, how high did you have to go?
Well, needless to say, that was the most expensive gig I ever had. The opening bid for the guitar, and by the way, this guitar was appraised at $4,500.
It's beautiful.
And the opening bid started at $1,000. And they weren't going to let it go for less than $2,000.
Were you prepared to go up to $4,500?
No, not even close. But I knew it was worth at least $2,000, and
yes.
I ended up getting it for $2,200.
Wonderful, wonderful, and it's been with you and a good companion, and
yes,
and you played beautiful music on it.
New member to my family.
It was very much worth it, wasn't it?
Absolutely.
And you say that you have begun the process of building your own guitar. Why is that?
I made a deal. I've always done woodworking projects and loved working with wood, and I've always had it in my head that I want to someday build a guitar, but I had really no idea where to start. And through contact with William Gourlay, we made a deal. I was going to give him free guitar lessons, and he was going to teach me how to build a guitar. And we started that. And at some point he said, I'm just not practicing. Why don't I just teach you how to build a guitar? So for the past 3 months, I have a guitar that looks similar to this. It's not quite finished, but what a learning experience.
What a learning experience. And we're coming to the close of our program, David, but I hope you will come back again to Talent in the Southland. Your music is a delight for anybody listening. What do you expect is coming up next for you?
Well, I'd like to continue building guitars, and
yes.
I love performing, so if anybody out there would like a classical guitarist at your next event, party, wedding, please give me a call, and I plan on continuing on teaching as well. So.
Well, that is supreme, and thank you very, very much for coming to Talent in the Southland and sharing your talent with us today.
My pleasure.
David Adele, classical guitarist.